Tonight, a survivor speaks.
I end up falling down, right? Then he slashes me again.
The survivor of a high school sword attack tells his terrifying story. Also tonight, close calls.
Sometimes it can be really dangerous.
A traffic study catches a surprising number of near misses between cars and people on city streets. Plus, a Fry Guy farewell.
What am I going to do? I can't go downtown and visit my people.
A French fry staple in the exchange is hanging up his fry basket.
Something makes me turn back, so I look back, and he's pulling out a sword.
That was the last thing Chinoso Onuke saw before he was brutally attacked in his high school. Tonight, he's recovering from serious injuries and sharing his horrifying story. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Police are calling it a senseless act of violence within the halls of a Manitoba high school. And tonight, we are hearing directly from the victim. CTV's Danton Unger is standing by with the details and a warning. Some of what you are about to hear is disturbing. Danton, tell us what happened.
Well, Marilee, as we've previously reported, it started during the lunch hour last week at the Neelan High School in Brandon. Police say a student wielding a sword attacked another student, leaving him with life-threatening injuries. CTV News met with the victim and his family to hear firsthand what happened.
Most of the tendons are cut. That's why I have all these things on as they heal.
15-year-old Chinoso Onuke is at home recovering with what police describe as life-altering injuries after a terrifying attack.
The whole thing happened so fast you would think it's a dream.
It happened here at the Neelan High School in Brandon on June 10th. Onuke, a grade 10 student at the school, says he was walking down the hallway during lunch when he saw someone.
I see a guy by there who was walking down the hallway in a black witch doctor mask, like I think a black bucket hat or something like that, and black trench coat. I look at him and I'm like, yo, this is kind of weird. This is Halloween or something.
He says he made a joke and then turned to walk away, but something made him turn around.
So I look back and he's pulling out a sword. Like, if you looked at it, it was like this. It was big.
And that is when the brutal attack began.
Before I can even think, he lunges at me, like, gets the first one in my abdomen or my leg. I don't know which one.
Onuke says he fell to the ground as the attacker continued slashing and stabbing his leg, shoulder, and chest.
It was all action, zero thought.
He says he managed to grab the blade, slicing 7 of his fingers in the process.
He tries to pull it. I don't let go. Then I push it away, and I just book it to the office.
Brandon police say another student called the school's resource officer, and within minutes, police arrived at the school, finding a 16-year-old student with a sword. Police say he was tasered and arrested and is now facing charges including attempted murder.
The quick thinking and the response of the student who called our school resource officer saved the day at the end of the day and prevented what would have been additional bloodshed.
Onuke required emergency surgery in Winnipeg, and he says when he woke up in hospital, he didn't believe what had happened to him.
I was just there, kind of like wondering, yo, did this actually happen or am I just dreaming? And then I looked down at my hands like, oh, this actually happened.
Now, remarkably, Marilee, Chinoso Onuke returned to school just days after the attack. And he says, while at first he was in a bit of shock, he says those feelings quickly subsided.
Oh, wow, Danton, he really seems unfazed despite the fact he almost died.
Marilee, it really is surprising to see how calm Chinoso is given everything he's been through. I mean, we asked what was going through his mind during the attack, and he says he really wasn't thinking at all. He was just taking action. And in the aftermath, Chinoso says he doesn't even think he's traumatized, though he does tell us sometimes people don't know they're traumatized when they actually are.
Yeah, true enough. All right, Dan, Chinoso described his attacker as wearing a witch doctor mask. What is that?
Well, we had to look that up, Marilee, and we have an image we can show you now. This is a drawing of the kind of mask. Yeah,
quite frightening.
Yeah, it's typically has glass openings for the eyes and a curved leather beak shaped like a bird's beak. It dates back to the 17th century and is also referred to as a plague doctor mask.
All right, this is strange. What about a motive, Danton? Have police identified one?
No, Marilee, not yet at least. Along with the attempted murder, the student has been charged with uttering threats, possessing a weapon for a dangerous purpose, and disguise with intent. Those charges have not been proven in court, and Brandon police confirm as of today that student remains in custody. Police say the Crown Attorney's Office is now reviewing the evidence and will determine if any further charges are warranted. And Marilee, I just got a call from Bob Harrison, the lawyer of the accused, and he confirmed that a provincial judge in Brandon has ordered a forensic assessment to determine if his client is suffering from any psychological or mental disorders.
All right, more to come on this story. Thanks for the update, Danton. A new fire hall is now open for service in Windsor Park. Station 9 on Autumnwood Drive was officially commissioned earlier today. It consolidates Station 15 at the same address and Station 9 on Marion Street. Officials say this will improve response efficiency. The new station has 5 bays and houses a fire engine, ambulance, rescue unit, hazardous materials team, associated crews, and the fire investigator. It also includes an air refill station and training room.
With more crews stationed here, it creates great opportunities for ongoing training and teamwork.
The design also includes a first for a city building, geothermal heat pumps for heating and cooling. The service expects a 98% reduction in emissions with the building's green considerations. The final cost of the station was $16 million. Well, have you ever had a near miss with a car while walking or biking in Winnipeg? If you answered yes, you are not alone. A new report from CAA shows a shocking number of cyclists and pedestrians have experienced close calls with vehicles. With more on this new data, CTV's Jeff Keel joins us now live. Jeff, you saw some traffic camera footage today. What did it show?
You can see people walking, even running in some cases, through intersections as cars literally cross their path.
This car can be seen brushing by 2 people, and here a driver speeds by a pedestrian at a crosswalk. CAA says these close calls are all too common.
CAA's report, it's sobering, it's shocking.
In an effort to improve road safety for all users, CAA monitored 20 intersections across Canadian cities, including Winnipeg. Over 7 months, it recorded close to 617,000 conflicts between pedestrians, cyclists, and vehicles. That means 1 out of every 770 pedestrians and 1 in every 500 cyclists experienced a high risk or critical near miss with a vehicle.
So if they would have actually happened, and if they would have been a collision, they could have resulted in serious injury or death.
The study found left and right-hand turns posed the worst near misses, followed by through traffic.
People will pull out really fast and then just turn.
See more than one bike a day hit a car.
CAA says to reduce these near misses, cities could add separated right turning lanes, which slows down drivers, as well as giving left-turning vehicles a dedicated green light before bikes and pedestrians. Another recommendation is installing leading signals, giving pedestrians a 5-second head start into an intersection, which the city of Winnipeg recently did downtown.
That helps because, the car's not like, okay, and then they're all mad because you're still walking across the street.
The city has restrictions on some right turns, and Public Works Committee Chair Janice Luke says they're also eyeing something similar for left turns.
We're doing a lot of traffic calming. We're looking at reducing, I'm looking at reducing the speed in residential neighborhoods. The city's done a pilot on it.
3 years ago, the city brought forward a road safety strategy with 67 action items, and Luke says they are working on them.
All right, Jeff, I'm curious, what intersection did CAA monitor in Winnipeg for these near misses?
Yeah, the city confirms it was Wall and St. Matthews using an existing traffic count camera there, and the city notes that intersection was chosen because of the existing technology that was there, not because of any collision data.
All right, thanks for this, Jeff. More signs tonight. The wildfire danger in Manitoba is easing. The government says it will soon lower fire and travel restrictions in many areas of the province. Right now, the entire burn permit area is under the tightest restrictions at level 3. But as of tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., the majority will be shifted down to level 2. The change means campfires are permitted between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. However, a travel permit will still be required for remote areas within fire boundaries. Other restrictions, such as a ban on motorized backcountry travel and camping outside of developed campgrounds, remains in place. And fire and travel restrictions have been lifted completely for areas 6, 7, and several provincial parks such as Assisipi, Birds Hill, St. Malo, and Stephenfield. You can find more details on our website. Just go to ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. Meanwhile, a Manitoba First Nation is asking members not to return home, even though its wildfire evacuation order was lifted. Tatasqueyak Cree Nation, also known as Split Lake, was evacuated late last month as an out-of-control wildfire burned only a kilometer away, causing the community to lose power. The evacuation order was initially lifted Monday. However, Chief and Council posted on Facebook, water quality tests have showed high levels of aluminum because the water treatment plant was no longer functioning. The First Nation is now in talks with Indigenous Services Canada and Health Canada to clean the pipes and reservoir. Water samples will then need to be taken and analyzed before residents can return. Let's bring in Colleen Brady now and get a first look at your Skywatch evening forecast. Some good news regarding the wildfire danger being dropped as of tomorrow morning, but you are tracking some potentially problematic weather in certain areas of the province. Colleen.
Already seems to be. Take a look at this. Now, Ray is one of our viewers out in Minnedosa. This is what it looks like in his yard right now, folks.
Is that hail?
That's hail. That came down just in the last hour or two. Now, he says that part of the yard is a little hard hit because some of that hail came off his roof and piled up there. Other parts of his yard, not so much hail, but still, that's a lot. And that's what's coming down right now. There is a severe thunderstorm right near that area. Here's how the radar is lighting up with thunderstorms. I want to show you a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for really much of the southwest tonight. That area in red, that's where the thunderstorm is deemed to be severe, not too far from where Ray is right now. It's tracking to the southeast. It's producing some sizable hail, as you saw there, some very strong winds and an awful lot of rain. More on that coming up. Let's take a look right now through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. In Winnipeg right now, it's 25 degrees. It's clouding over. We could see some of those storms move our way. Winds out of the northeast at 23 kilometers an hour. The pressure's rising and the humidity right now, Marilee, is 44%.
Thanks, Colleen. A 36-year-old man is dead following a head-on crash north of Winnipeg. It happened yesterday on Highway 8 near Bay Road. Selkirk RCMP say a sedan heading north veered into the southbound lane. It collided head-on with a large truck heading south. Emergency responders pronounced the driver of the sedan dead at the scene. The driver of the truck was brought to hospital where he was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. RCMP collision analysts are now investigating. And a 42-year-old man from Winnipeg was killed when the off-road vehicle he was driving hit an SUV. It happened yesterday afternoon at the corner of Highway 44 and Road 25E in the Arm of Brokenhead. RCMP say the SUV was heading west on 44 when the off-road vehicle tried to cross the road and hit the SUV. The driver of the off-road vehicle was pronounced dead at the scene. A passenger on the off-road vehicle was seriously injured and remains in critical condition tonight in hospital. The provincial government has signed an agreement to support an area of Ukraine in its reconstruction efforts. Premier Wildfire virtually signed a memorandum of understanding with the governor of Ukraine's Kherson region, which is partly occupied by Russian forces. Canoe said the West has a responsibility to stand up for Ukraine and noted a Manitoban, Austin Laughlin-Bercier, died fighting alongside Ukrainian soldiers. The agreement calls for collaboration in areas such as agriculture, economic development, and healthcare. Canoe says he would like to start sending aid immediately, which could include resources or expertise from Manitoba Hydro. A group of Clear Lake residents is taking legal action against Parks Canada's watercraft ban. Parks Canada has banned motorized boats on the lake since May 16th to fight the spread of zebra mussels. The invasive species was found in the lake in 2023. A citizens group called Fairness for Clear Lake wants to reverse the decision and has filed for a judicial review. The group says Parks Canada's ban was made without meaningful consultation and clear evidence or regard for the economic impact a ban would have. It's asking a judge to stop the enforcement of the ban and make public the evidence Parks Canada used to justify the boat ban. On its website, Parks Canada says it's now researching how motorized watercraft affect ecological, socio-economic, and cultural components of Clear Lake. A controversial development proposed in a Manitoba community is set to face another vote. Tonight, the Red River Planning District will vote on a subdivision application for a proposed gated community in the RM of St. Andrews. If approved, the 20-acre parcel of land would be subdivided into 76 lots and would add a new road. But some residents worry it will put a strain on the water supply, existing infrastructure, as well as community services. They also believe it goes against residential zoning requirements. The district's community planner initially recommended the application be rejected, but the RM of St. Andrews voted in favor of the application with a number of conditions attached. The application now goes before the Red River Planning District. If a majority votes in favor, the province would also still have to approve the project. As the city looks to speed up home building, one city councillor wants more done to cut down on construction waste. Daniel McIntyre councillor Cindy Gilroy put forward a motion directing the public service to review best practices in other cities. This could include mandatory recycling or reuse, penalties or incentives for compliance, or diversion targets. Councillors will vote on the motion Tuesday. Manitoba's population continues to climb, and for the first time in more than 20 years, Statistics Canada says our province saw its first net gain from interprovincial migration. 106 more Canadians now call Manitoba home. Statistics Canada says it's the first time that's happened since 2004. Overall, Manitoba's population continues to climb, growing by more than 21,000 since this time last year to around 1,507,000. The ongoing U.S.-Canada trade dispute has small business owners concerned for their summer season.
For many small businesses, the summer months are their busiest time of year.
A Canadian Federation of Independent Business poll finds businesses are split on whether summer revenue will remain the same or will go higher or lower. But 37% of those surveyed say they have noticed changes in tourist behavior.
With the ongoing trade dispute, we know for a fact businesses are telling us they've already seen a shift in bookings. They've seen an uptick in bookings from Canadians, but unfortunately, they've seen a drop off in bookings from people from the U.S.
The CFIB says that, compounded with the wildfire situation, inflation, and low consumer demand, is adding to their stress. To help the tourism industry, it's urging the governments to reduce permit and licensing requirements, promote buying local, and vacationing in Canada. CFIB says 66 cents of every dollar spent locally stays here versus 11 cents at multinational companies. For 30 years, Goldie's Fries has been a popular lunchtime destination in the Exchange District, but perhaps not for too much longer.
Here I am, my friend. Cheers, brother. Cheers, brother.
The owner of Goldie's Fries has decided to hang up his fry basket. After selling mountains of fries and uncountable numbers of hot dogs and Smokies, Darryl Lehman has decided to sell his food truck. At 69, he says he's ready to step away and enjoy life. Although Lehman says being the Goldie's Fry guy has been very enjoyable over the decades, and walking away won't be easy.
It's going to be very hard. I'm going to wake up the next day and go, what am I going to do? I can't go downtown and visit my people. But I will support the new owner and look after them, and I will be there to help them. I'm not going to disappear. Not going anywhere. I just want to relax.
Lehman doesn't know when his last day as owner will be. He says he's had a few people inquire about the food truck, but until he sells it, you will be able to find him in Market Square selling fries.
I can tell you this, that Iran's got a lot of trouble.
What will Trump do? Why options for a peaceful settlement could be narrowing as the days stretch on. It was a mixed day on the markets. Crude oil dropped 29 cents. The loonie fell to 73.14 cents U.S. Gold futures added $1.20. The TSX made a small gain. The Dow Jones lost 44 points, while the Nasdaq closed 25 points higher. The war of words between Washington and Tehran is escalating as Donald Trump weighs his options amid the ongoing conflict between Israel and Iran. Today, the U.S. president was asked if the United States would attack Iranian nuclear facilities.
I mean, you don't know that I'm going to even do it. You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. I can tell you this, that Iran's got a lot of trouble, and they want to negotiate. And I said, why didn't you negotiate with me before?
As the fighting continues, Iran rejected Trump's demand for an unconditional surrender and has threatened retaliation if the U.S. gets directly involved in the conflict. European diplomats are preparing to hold nuclear talks with Iran Friday. On the same day, the prime ministers of Canada and India shook hands at the G7, repairing a 2-year diplomatic rift. Comes word of a CSIS report which accuses India of being at the forefront of foreign interference. A cooling of relations was triggered by accusations India was involved in the 2023 killing of a BC Sikh activist. CTV's Abigail Bimman on the thaw and questions over how far diplomacy should go.
It's a great honor to host you at the G7.
The same day as the meeting with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Canada's spy agency listed India as one of the main perpetrators of foreign interference and espionage against Canada in its newly released annual report. CSIS called links between the government of India and the 2023 murder of Sikh separatist activist Hardeep Singh Nijjar a significant escalation in India's repression efforts against the Khalistan movement and a clear intent to target individuals in North America. It calls on Canada to remain vigilant about continued foreign interference by India in ethnic, religious, and cultural communities, as well as Canada's political system.
As a government, we condemn any interference by foreign actors in Canada. The RCMP, as you're aware, is completing its ongoing investigation, and they will have more to say.
I think it was premature.
This former CSIS intelligence officer says the move yesterday to restore top diplomats in both countries is important, but the timing at the G7 sent mixed signals.
On the one hand, we're taking transnational repression seriously. At the second hand, we're inviting people over, putting them on the red carpet, and making it look as though all's fine and wonderful.
The expectation that India understand the damage they have done here in Canada is really important to moving this relationship forward.
The CSIS report also noted the Canadian, American, and British spy agencies agree that never in our combined histories have we faced national security threats overall of such magnitude simultaneously. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
The Southern Chiefs Organization is raising urgent concerns about the federal government's bill aimed at breaking down interprovincial trade barriers and speeding up project approvals. Bill C-5 grants Cabinet sweeping new powers to fast-track infrastructure and resource development projects. But the SCO says the legislation threatens to push First Nations out of the process. Meanwhile, in Ottawa, the Prime Minister has set the bill on a fast track to becoming law. And as CTV's Rachel Aiello reports, there's growing concern. Mark Carney is prioritizing expediency over parliamentary scrutiny.
The Liberal government is facing pressure from Indigenous groups and MPs, including from within their own party, to slow down trying to pass the Major Projects Bill by Canada Day to allow more time for consultation. Prime Minister Mark Carney's One Canadian Economy Bill, C-5, is on track to clear the House of Commons by Friday. With the backing of Conservatives, earlier this week, the Liberals moved to speed up the study of the legislation. Left with a narrow window to scrutinize it, NDP, Green, and Bloc MPs have raised alarm. Even some Liberals are expressing reservations about striking the right balance.
It's an impactful bill, but it's a short bill, and so my hope is that the committee is able to make substantive amendments.
Given the urgency, maybe this is the best we're going to get under the circumstances.
Prompting pushback is a proposal within the legislation to give Cabinet the power to approve natural resource projects, seen by some as undermining obligations to consult Indigenous people. Yesterday, Ontario Chiefs came to the Hill to amplify calls for Carney to take more time to consider the consequences.
Canadians ought to be alarmed.
But today, the government stood by the bill, its intentions, and the decision to fast-track it.
This bill enjoys incredibly broad support, and we're pleased to be making progress on it.
Tonight, a committee of MPs will be burning the midnight oil to consider amendments to Bill C-5. It will have to pass the House by Friday, and then it'll be off to the Senate, where a pre-study is already underway. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
A Tim Hortons in Saskatchewan was the subject of a bizarre break-in. Surveillance video captured a burglar climbing through a drive-through window and breaking open a cash register. It happened around 3 a.m. local time. The thief then walked around the store before exiting the way he came in. The owner is appealing for the public's help in finding the culprit. Well, if you travel, you may end up coming home with currency from around the world.
Penalizing me for their error.
But be careful if you hang on to it for too long. One woman cashed in 21,000 Mexican pesos only to find out her bank considered it worthless. That story just ahead.
Well, the normal high now for Winnipeg is around 24 degrees. We'll go well up above that Friday. 27 degrees, a mix of sun and cloud. 26 on Saturday, clouding over. We could see rain Saturday night, changing over to lighter showers through the day on Sunday. 18 degrees, so a little cool. 18 again Monday, cloudy. A little warmer Tuesday, up to 22 under a mix of sun and cloud.
The Winnipeg Blue Bombers will soon be on the road to Vancouver, where they'll take on the BC Lions this weekend. And some of the dads in the lineup may be looking forward to some extra sleep. The Bombers beat the Lions 34-20 last Saturday in the season opener at Winnipeg's Princess Auto Stadium. Several players have celebrated the arrival of new babies, which means they need to spend extra time and energy off the field at home. Head coach Mike O'Shea says while the players' wives and partners take care of most of the family's needs, the dads on the team tend to take advantage on their road trips to get an extra bit of shut-eye.
Your spouse steps up, especially during the season, to give you the time you need to be good at your job. And then part of that is when they get on the road, it's like, whew, I get an extra couple hours sleep.
The Bombers will try to tame the Lions this Saturday at BC Place. Game time is 6 o'clock.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
All right, Colleen Brady back now with an update on the thunderstorm she's tracking for us this hour. And I got to tell you that hail has left me a little shooken because my gardening friends out there are panicking. Is this hail coming to Winnipeg?
It might. There is the possibility across southern Manitoba
tonight. If my husband's watching, get my plants inside.
Get ready.
Now.
Yeah. You've got a head start right now. But if you're here in the southeast in the Red River Valley, if you're in the southwest, it is happening right now. I showed you that photo earlier out in Minnedosa of all the hail that's come in there. Quite a few thunderstorms firing off around the region. Not all are severe, but the whole region. Oh, look at that, folks. Live TV. That severe thunderstorm has just been downgraded to non-severe. Having said that, all of the southwest still under a severe thunderstorm watch. So all those thunderstorms that are still firing off right now do still have the potential to redevelop or be upgraded, if you will, in a manner of speaking, to severe. I was going to show you this severe storm, and because this just changed, well, I'm going to zoom in on that area anyway and show you on the satellite radar. Mere seconds ago, this was a severe thunderstorm moving through the Neepawa area. It is still pretty serious, though. Moving to the southeast, it's producing toonie to ping-pong sized hail, an awful lot of rain, and a lot of wind. But it's part of a larger line of storms, all headed generally to the east. We could see some of that come through Winnipeg and the Red River Valley. But jumping over into northwestern Ontario, we have some thunderstorms that have moved through there and continue to do so. They were severe. Some of them were. At this point, they're not. But again, that could change too. In the region, special air quality statement remains in effect for parts of northwestern Ontario. Back into Manitoba, it's much drier in the north where those fires continue to burn. Now, it doesn't look like Flin Flon may see any rain again until we get into the weekend. Back down in the south, certainly seeing the rain in the southwest right now with the hail and the winds. And all of that could be heading Winnipeg's way. away, not just the city here, but spreading out across the south tonight. And that threat of thunderstorms could linger a little longer overnight in our neck of the woods. By the time we get to tomorrow morning, it's moved off into northwestern Ontario, clearer in the north. Clear conditions remain in the south, but not for too long. It looks like we could get into the latter part of tomorrow afternoon, and in the southwest, you could get another round of these showers, maybe even thunderstorms coming through. Overnight, we go into Friday, still relatively calm conditions for the north, a little less so for the south, but it's been that kind of week where we've seen vacillations between stability and instability. Tonight, thunderstorms, well, they could be likely. We could see them yet come through the city. 13 are overnight low, 15 tomorrow morning for the commute, a mix of sun and cloud. 26 is our high, and we'll take a quick swing around the province up into the northeast. Not many clouds tonight. Overnight lows single digits, including Thompson down to 4, sunny there and 20. Sunshine around the region, but smoky in some areas or hazy. A few clouds tonight over the southwest, down to 10 for Flin Flon and the Pas overnight. Sunny around the region tomorrow, highs in the upper teens, low 20s. Showers and thunderstorms coming through the southwest now. Brandon, Neepawa, all around the region, down to 12 overnight. Again, you may see more of that around Dauphin and Swan River tomorrow. Brandon, sunny. Winnipeg in the southeast, a very good chance we'll see some of those showers, maybe thunderstorms come through tonight. Mix of sun and cloud for Winnipeg tomorrow and the surrounding regions. Temperatures in the mid-20s. And showers or thunderstorms quite possible tonight, northwestern Ontario, and as we head into tomorrow as well. Let's take a look at our first weather photo. It takes us out to beautiful Devil's Lake and a look at that reflection. That photo is from David, a gorgeous shot. And this next one, well, it's very nice too. That's out at West Hawk Lake. That photo is from Bruce. Send us yours to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Thanks, Colleen. A warning tonight for travelers who come home with foreign currency. A woman cashed in 21,000 Mexican pesos at her bank earlier this year and was happy to exchange it for Canadian funds. But weeks later, she was told the money was actually worthless and the bank wanted the Canadian money back. CTV's Pat Foran has her story.
They're penalizing me for their error, and I think that's very unfair.
Jose Romano of Scarborough has traveled to Mexico many times over the years. She's been saving her leftover Mexican pesos and in March decided to cash it in for Canadian funds. She gave her bank 21,000 Mexican pesos and received just over $1,400 Canadian.
I accepted it, and he gave me the cash, and then I went home, and I completely forgot all about it.
The Mexican peso was revalued by the Bank of Mexico in 1993, and older bills were withdrawn from circulation. Romano says while Scotiabank accepted her Mexican currency, they later contacted her to say the bills were too old and of no value.
They said the pesos are old. I had no idea if the pesos were old. How would I know? They're the bank.
Romano says the bank offered to return the Mexican pesos to her, but she said weeks had passed and she had already spent the money. But she was shocked when the bank debited her account the $1,400.
Without my knowledge or consent, they had taken the money out of my account, the full amount.
When CTV News reached out to Scotiabank, a spokesperson said, if foreign banknotes are returned for some reason, for example, they're no longer in circulation, their account will be debited the Canadian dollar value of the returned foreign banknotes. Romano feels the bank should not have exchanged the Mexican currency if it had no value.
If they hadn't given it to me, I wouldn't have spent it.
After CTV News reached out to Scotiabank on Romano's behalf, she was told she would get a full refund of the $1,400, which was a major relief for her.
I want to thank you so much. I have no words to express my gratitude. I am very, very grateful. Thank you, Mr. Foran. I'm so glad.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
People are describing what's called razor blade throat, or a really severe sore throat.
A new COVID variant emerges. What health officials are saying about the severity of the virus. Colorectal cancer is a serious health risk for many Canadians, including those under the age of 50, which is why advocates are pushing to lower the screening age for the disease from 50 to 45. And joining me now, actually from an early onset conference, I understand, in Barcelona to talk more about this is Barry Stein, President and CEO of Colorectal Cancer Canada. Barry, so good to speak with you.
Good afternoon. Nice to speak with you.
I understand part of the reason for this push is the dramatic rise in early onset colorectal cancer. Can you tell us a bit about what the data today shows?
So what the data is showing is that individuals who were born after 1980 are at about 2 to 2.5 times more likely to be diagnosed for colorectal cancer. So that was our first signal that came off. We started to see this information transmitted from the American Cancer Society, and consequently in the US, they did reduce in 2018 the screening age from 50 to 45. Subsequently, based on similar data in Australia, which is a comparable population and sized nation with a similar economy, they recently, last year in 2024, decided to not only reduce the screening age to 45, but also change the guidelines to say that it should actually start at 40, but reimburse it through the public health care system at 45.
Why is dropping the screening age so important when we're talking about colorectal cancer?
So what we have seen from the epidemiologist studies in the area is that essentially through simulation, called OncoSim, they're able to forecast how many new cases there will be and what would happen if we lowered our screening age by 5 years. In the next 40 years, what would happen? And what they found was that we could save over 5,000 lives, 5,200 or so lives, and that it's very cost effective to do it as well, because the cost of preventing the cancers versus through including them in the screening programs and so forth is much less than the cost of treating patients and end-of-life costs as well. So not only is there a great reason, obviously, for saving lives, but it's cost effective. And it's a very good use of resources as well, because what we found out in the United States most recently is the last oncology meeting this past June in Chicago at ASCO, was that the United States Task Force did a study on what happened in terms of their lowering of the screening age. Did it make any difference? And what they found was that it prevented more cancers, and therefore it was very cost effective, and that the positivity rates went up. They found more cancers in younger individuals, but the cancer rate dropped as a consequence of the screening. And we know this for a fact in our older population, meaning from 50 to 74 in Canada, that screening has actually helped to reduce the cancer rate.
This change in the screening age could have helped yourself, you believe. Are you comfortable sharing a bit about your story with us?
I wish it would have helped myself. Of course, I was just turning 40 at the time, 41 at the time. I was 40 years old. So even a change in the guidelines today would not have helped me. But what would have helped me is knowing my family history and not ignoring the signs and symptoms of the disease. So equally important for young individuals, men and female, because it is the #1 cancer killer for men under the age of 50 now, and soon to be for women as well. It's now second for women under the age of 50, would be to not disregard the signs and symptoms of the disease, and also bring it, let's say, sensitize our family physicians not to turn away people who are younger, who may display signs or symptoms, but not really think about colorectal cancer. So we really have to sensitize not only the population, the individuals, to know about colon cancer and their family history, genetics, and so forth, how healthy lifestyles can help to reduce the risk, and also how ultimately screening can actually really help reduce that risk of getting colon cancer, prevent it in many cases, and make it much more treatable and curable if found early.
Such an important message. Barry, thanks so much for joining us. It was great speaking with you.
Thank you.
A new variant of COVID has emerged this spring, and it has a very painful sounding name.
People are describing what's called razor blade throat, or a really severe sore throat.
That main symptom gives the NB181 variant, or Nimbus, its common name, razor blade throat. It spread quickly across Asia and other regions since being identified in January. In Canada, Nimbus accounted for 4% of COVID cases in early April and jumped to an estimated 45% in all cases as of last week. However, the World Health Organization says there's nothing to suggest it's more severe than other variants. Symptoms include gastrointestinal symptoms like nausea, heartburn, and stomach pain, as well as a razor blade sensation in the throat. To limit the spread, doctors suggest hand washing, avoiding touching your face, and masking when sick. A young girl in Ontario can hear again thanks to a new procedure done in London. Just 2 years ago, her parents were told this wouldn't be possible. CTV's Sean Irvine has the story.
Imagine the moment. A mother and father are waiting to see if a Canadian medical first has given their child a chance to hear for the first time. Will tiny Savannah turn when she hears a clap?
Yeah.
It is the response parents Danny and Jacqueline Lee have been waiting for since being told their daughter could not hear. For the first year of her life, they believed she never would.
So we were actually told to continue with sign because that would be our only option, really.
Enter LHSC surgeon Dr. Demir Bajin and a technique he performed while working overseas. Using a new auditory implant, he offered the Lee family a chance for Savannah to hear. But it would require brain surgery.
We need to expose the brainstem to put the implant in.
The procedure came with risks.
But the risks were pretty low because they've been so well versed in this whole procedure that it gave us, it helped us decide really easily to move forward with it.
The 4-hour surgery took place last year, and it didn't take long for Savannah to advance.
It was very rewarding to see such a clear sign of hearing on the day we activated the device, and we had some nice clear signs of hearing, like looking up, turning towards sounds, which was fantastic on day one.
So this is essentially the only choice that these kids have to develop language skills and hear any sound. So if you do it on time, which we did for this kid, they will develop a normal language skill.
And that ability to communicate in words was something her parents had thought might never be possible until this moment.
Hi.
But then when you actually hear the words, you feel kind of better and like pressure's off and you feel like a weight's been kind of lifted a bit.
A weight that these parents hope extends to other children and adults waiting desperately for the chance to hear for the first time.
It's fantastic. A lot of doors have been opened, and could be a lot more children in the future, have an outlet here to be able to hear.
In London, Sean Irvine, CTV News.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manukin Koster Denture Clinic. Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Tom Papa.
The sweet sound of jazz is ringing through the Exchange District. Music lovers are tuning in to the 36th annual Winnipeg International Jazz Fest. The 6 days of tunes kicked off Tuesday evening at Old Market Square. More than 55 local, Canadian, and international performers will be taking the stage at the Cube and venues around the city. Jazz Winnipeg is expecting tens of thousands of attendees this year.
So we have a shorter program this year, which means that we have more condensed and very interesting and talented musicians coming over. So we have our European series, and then we also have Richard Bona, who is, for many, many people, one of the best bassists in the world. So it's exciting to have this kind of caliber of talent come in and also have some of our local musicians.
Jazz Fest runs now through Sunday. You can purchase tickets at jazzwinnipeg.com. You can step back in time for free this summer at a National Historic Site just outside of Winnipeg. Lower Fort Garry will open for the 2025 season on June 30th. As part of the Canada Strong Pass, you can tour the fort for free. Built at the height of the fur trade, Lower Fort Garry has been a trading post, police training base, an asylum, and a country club over the years. The fort is offering hourly demonstrations, a knowledge-sharing series, safaris, guided tours, and more throughout July and August. You can find more details on its website. We'll beat those midweek blues with Master Chef at 7, followed by Gordon Ramsay's Secret Service. And don't miss Battle of the Generations at 9, all right here on CTV.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
25 degrees and cloudy right now. It's not a sure shot, but there's a possibility some of those thunderstorms might roll through. We did get all the way up to 27 degrees. That was the high temperature of the day today. 1995, the record for this day, 36 degrees in Winnipeg. Tonight down to 13, mix of sun and cloud Thursday, 26, 27 on Friday. Clouding over Saturday, 26. We could see rain Saturday night, showers likely Sunday, 18 again Monday, 22 under a mix of sun and cloud Tuesday.
Thanks, Colleen. Well, you've heard of self-driving taxi cabs, but would you travel in an airplane with no pilot? Check this out. This is Whisk Aero's autonomous aircraft. It can carry 4 passengers. It's designed for short journeys, about 15 to 20 minutes, essentially making it a self-flying taxi. It's currently going through tests to become legal in the skies. What do you think, Colleen? You booking a trip?
Nope.
No?
Not anytime soon.
Yeah. No, well, I don't know. I don't drive in rush hour traffic, so maybe I'd feel different if that got me there faster. Because I hate rush hour traffic.
There, yeah.
But
yeah.
No pilot, I don't know.
That's the thing. That's the catch. Always a catch.
All right, have a good night. We'll be back tomorrow.